in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Ranto.
Michael.
Ranto.
Cotton.
Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
It's Michael. I know that you put all your effort into that Ranto scream, but unfortunately, you were picked up by a Red Sox podcast in the Rule 5 draft. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to leave. We're gonna have to do something else. We're scrambling for people on this show.
You know what? I'm fine with that. What I'm upset about is that you didn't protect me.
Yeah, well, I had no room on the 40 man. It's just it's just tough out there. We're gonna get to a couple guys from the 40 man roster here in a second. We got Joe Kilgallen, very funny Cubs fan, great comedian, and our old friend Crawley's gonna come through because I knew he'd have some things to say about what just transpired here at the winter meetings. I'm Danny Rocket. That's Michael Cotton, and this show is called the Ranto Show, and it's brought to you by our 105 Patreon supporters, one of whom is going to win this later on in the show. It is a replica scoreboard given away at Wrigley Field. It is signed by Crawley, making it really priceless. Ultimately, it's now
nobody will pay you anything.
No one will pay you a thing for it. So, no, very cool. And not only we're going to do that, we're going to give out the Amazon prize of the month later on in the show. So lots of prizes being given out. That's Bleacher Bump and shot glasses. And on every single show, if you type #chance into the chat, like right now, #CHANCE, like Frank Chance, you could win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of doom and love. And you will be entered to win also at the end of the year, a Pedro Strop bobblehead. So one lucky winner is going to win that. Very cool stuff. So #chance in the chat right now. Later on, we're going to have some Cubs carols and stuff. But without further ado, let's bring on our first guest, Mr. Joe Kilgallen. Welcome to the
Hey,
Show.
boys. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Exciting times. I have breaking news on Twitter while you were talking.
Oh, yeah, please.
The Cubs have signed Arson Judge.
Arson Judge? Burn it down!
Arson Judge. You guys saw that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Our boy Heyman.
It's definitely my favorite typo of the winter meetings. Yeah. That wins typo of the winter.
He had Coke Hamels too earlier. Cole Hamels, he had Coke. Coke Hamels wants to make a comeback. I swear to God, the tweet's out there. He wrote Coke Hamels is interested in making a comeback. He hasn't pitched since 2020. So obviously a lot of Cubs fans had fun reminiscing about the Coke.
That's not true. That's not true. He hasn't pitched since he was on the '84 Mets.
Yeah, Coke Hamels was.
Oh, that was a fun team.
He was hanging out with Dykstra back in the day. So yeah, winter meetings. I mean, I'll just come out right out and say it. Unmitigated disaster. Just the worst possible thing that could have happened. No, I'll pull a punch here. There's still 3 shortstops out there. We'll talk about those guys in a second. Trey Turner is the only one off the board. So the thing could still happen. It's not like a signing period. Like maybe that would be fun if it was, because then it would be more fun for us because everybody would have to get off the board at all at a specific amount of time.
That's what happened. Was it last year that they had like the short time? They were
because of the lockout.
Yeah, that was so much better.
Yeah, it was fun.
I agree.
But what we ended up with was Cody Bellinger, a former MVP and center fielder and first baseman, kind of plugs a hole out there in a way. And also Jamison Tyone. Those are the 2 big gets. And before somebody answers like what you think of this and give me your thoughts on those 2 guys, let's bring on Crawley. Crawley, welcome to the Ranto Show. Longtime listener, first time caller, Crawley. So yeah, we're just talking about the Cubs' 2 big gets, Cody Bellinger. I'll put his stats up. Joe, why don't you tell me your feelings on the Bellinger signing here?
Well, it shows how starved we've been as Cubs fans for any kind of excitement because he has been bad the last few years. A very, very good defensive center field he put in last season. The risk is low because it's 1 year. So I'm not a hater on this deal. I think it's a fine. Yeah, it's 1 year. 17.5 million is very expensive for a 1 year player who hasn't been good for a while. I really hope he turns it around. I hope we have Dodger fans feeling the way Cubs fans felt watching Schwarber turn it around. So I'm okay with it. But again, we need more, of course. But yeah, 17.5 million. I mean, that's incredible that he got that much. If he's bad, we could potentially have 40 million combined for Hayward and Bellinger because we are still paying Hayward, and Hayward was actually better offensively than Bellinger the last few seasons. So it's a little bit
that's saying a lot,
right?
Well, and I would call it. Well, Carl, let me ask you: is this just Jock Peterson 2.0, except for more expensive, and you just see what this guy's got? If it works out great, you flip him at the deadline. Pick up some more prospects for the perverts out there. Like, what's your thought on this?
Like Joe said, it's a low risk, high reward. High reward. You have the money. You have the money to spend. 20 million isn't going to affect you one way or another. And at this point, if the guy is successful, and the team's bad, then you flip him. No big deal. If he sucks, I mean, right now, the Cubs ended up in a bad situation where you had two of your top center field prospects get injured. Okay. Brennan Davis is back. And then you had Canario have that terrible injury where he hurt his shoulder and his ankle. And so you need someone there, man. I mean, that just is. And the Cubs were just awful at center field. I think they were the second worst as far as wins above replacement at center field. They were just absolutely awful.
Well, you played a third baseman out there half the year. You had Christopher Morel taking over, and it was nice to see him flexing his muscles out there
and
center
you,
field and the
you guys
aspect. You
guys remember, as much as I hate Almora, it's nice to actually have somebody that can play center field. Okay. It's not like you can just plop anybody in there and it's going to be okay. When you watch a good center fielder, which you're going to see in Bellinger, great. And like I said, he's a placeholder until those other guys get better and hopefully have a successful year. So
Crawley, I think you just nailed what I hate about this signing.
Okay.
Placeholder. You said placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need fucking placeholders. We need
who
actually.
In center field we do.
Yeah, would you rather go out there and
Because you have a lot
give the
at center.
time and money to Nimmo? Like that would have been the other way to go with it. You're just going to give some Nimmo.
I'd feel better about Nimmo than 1 year placeholder, and then next year he's gone. We're looking at the same fucking.
To be honest,
thing.
we don't even know if he's a placeholder because I'll put these numbers back up. I mean, the guy, here's his slash line last year: 210. 265, 389, OPS of 654. I mean, and that's not a small sample size. This 550 plate appearances. Like this guy got a chance. He was injured in 2020?
2020, yeah.
2020. And then it completely fell apart from there. 165. He dislocated his shoulder, celebrating a home run.
Yeah, but look, we don't seriously though. This whole placeholder bullshit. It's like, we got Brennan Davis coming up. We got Canario. We got this guy. We got that guy. Well, guess what? They're not here. And they're getting hurt at an alarming rate everywhere outside of Chicago. So why? It just tells me they don't want to win. Again,
so
they're like, we're just putting it. Let's just hold on. We're gonna do it at 24, and then next year, maybe 25, and then next, maybe 26. It's like I'm fucking tired of it. Put a goddamn team out there that you actually want. Go after guys that you actually want, not guys that you're like. Let's just give him a bunch of fucking money and have him for a year, and we'll get rid of him halfway through if the season's going bad.
Putting up the list of center fielders right now. You had Aaron Judge, who ended up going back to the Yankees for like all
300 million,
all the money in the world per year. And so that was. Then you had Nimmo, 30 years old. We're 7.4 WAR, still out there. So I mean, it's not like that would have been a terrible option. Like if that's the way Cotton would have gone, if that's the way the Cubs would have gone, I would have respected that.
And mind you, that was a bounce back year for Nimmo.
It was, yeah.
That's not like he's not like a perennial 7.4 WAR,
Right. So that thing evens out. He's still above maybe 3, which now there's almost everybody off the board. There's like 4 guys I think I saw tweeted that are above 3 WAR. One of them being Correa, and the other one being Bogarts, and then 2 more. I forget.
Swanson.
Nimmo being one. Kiermaier would have been a possibility. Odubel, Herrera, Lorenzo Kane, obviously not. He's done. And then it falls off from there. Jake Marisnik, Billy Hamilton. Like, I don't know. Like, come on.
I can't believe Billy Hamilton's only 32.
I know he doesn't.
Oh, he came up at like 20. That's why. I mean,
so the Cubs have, and
If
Joe and I have had this
hitting center fielder. There's your guy.
Joe and I have argued about this numerous times about prospects, and it is, and the point of it that I always make with Joe in our argument is that traditionally the Cubs would have one guy, like this is the center fielder of the future, and if he fizzled out, there was nothing else. It was like, oh shit, there goes our one guy. What I'm telling you right now here is that Suzuki's there for 5 years. Ian Happ just had his best year, Gold Glove. I'm hoping that it continues, yet to be determined. Okay. And now you have this spot in center fielder. You have 3 guys right now that within, again, and these aren't like injuries that were like hamstring, Eloy Jimenez type injuries. The one that ended up happening with Canario was a fluke. Guy kind of ran into the baseline. It's why they're making the bigger bases, and he tripped over a guy.
Now he's gonna trip that much sooner,
right?
The bases.
But the point of it is that like you have 3.
Well, he might land on the base, and it'll be so soft and cushiony, and his whole body will be able to sit
It'll
on
be like a toilet paper commercial.
You have 3 guys right now that potentially could be starting center fielders in Canario, in Davis, and PCA. So you got one spot for 3 guys. Those guys are going to fight it out and let the best player win. It's not like the old days where, again, if let's say it was Brennan Davis was the guy, and then all of a sudden he didn't cut it and you had nothing else behind him. 3 guys that are top quality prospects for one spot. So you want to sit there and block them for 5 years or 4 years. That's to me not the greatest thing right now. Not with what they did. The whole point of everything that they did with trading away the 2016 team was to rebuild that farm system. And you have a farm system that keeps improving more and more every year. It sucks. I 100% agree. And we've gone through this, is that it sucks that, that something happened in the development phase at some point in time where the Cubs, A, they weren't getting a lot of draft picks. B, they were trading to try to add more to get to that team. And it didn't happen. But now I feel that we're in a better spot. And unfortunately, this happens. Injuries happen. Things happen. We talked about it before, all the holes in the team. I just don't think you had enough I don't give a shit what you did to fill it all in one offseason. Yeah. You saw what the Texas Rangers did last year, and how did they turn out?
Yeah.
Well,
real quick though, I got to cut. Hold on, Cotton, real quick. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, go ahead.
It's now the Rangers are the example. You know who the example was the first 2 months of last year? The Phillies. You want the Cubs to be like the Phillies? Yeah, I fucking do. Real quick though, Crawley, I agreed with you about the idea of having depth, and I love that. So that's why I don't want Nimmo. I don't want someone blocking center field. Hap 1 more year, unless you sign Nimmo for center field and then you let a Hap go and you move Nimmo to left. Fine, you could have me on that. But if we were doing a 1-year placeholder at shortstop, I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing? Because we don't have shortstops knocking on the door, but we have outfield prospects who are knocking on the door. So I don't agree with you there. I think the placeholder in that position's fine. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the thing to be alarmed about. I'd be alarmed if that shortstop we get out. If we sign Gene Segura to be our shortstop, then I'll be fucking furious. You know what I mean?
Like in the Andrelton Simmons from last year.
Exactly.
Here's the thing.
It's very similar.
But that's the thing. This is not the first year they've done this.
Is D. Gordon still on the board?
It's every year they do this. Every year they fucking more placeholders. Simmons, and now Bellinger, and now every year it's more and more placeholders. I'm done. Like we've done this for the last 2 or 3 years. How about we fucking start going the other way? Start actually signing some of these players for some, for some years. Get an actual team.
Even
I agree. At shortstop, sign long-term players, but not at minor positions where you got people knocking on the door.
Well, and Bellinger, even best case scenario, he does amazingly, and some team wants him because he's totally revamped himself. Worst case scenario, you wasted $17 million on a guy, and maybe he's like riding the bench towards the end of the year as some of these injured dudes start coming up to the major leagues because they got better. So, it's
a prove.
I hope so.
You're at a prove it deal with this guy. He has to prove it. He wants to do what Carlos Rodon just did. Nobody wanted to give Carlos Rodon because he's always injured and blah blah. No one gave him the big deal. So he took a deal that was a 1 year 20, was it 2 year $20 million with the opt out. That's what essentially you're going to be doing here with Bellinger. And I don't see any way that you're. The reason that the season's going to not be great isn't going to be Cody Bellinger, I don't think.
Well, everybody says, and this might have been something overlooked.
He's just a piece of why it's not going to be great. That's what I'm frustrated
Well, here's
by.
another reason why.
I absolutely 100% hope you guys are right, that these guys are going to come up and they're going to make an impact on this team this year or even next year.
That's been the argument I've had about prospects is you can't pencil them in to be amazing right away. We were insanely lucky during that last run that people came up and were good right away. That just doesn't normally happen.
Yeah. Addison Russell, Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, I mean, you have to just wait on that. This is a warning to fans.
Love child.
Well, yeah, and this is a warning to
that
fans.
Explains a lot.
Right, yeah, it does. If PCA comes up and is bad the first couple months, don't write him off. He can still end up being good. There are Hall of Famers out there who sucked their first handful of years. So,
dude, PCA was in fucking single A this year.
We moved it to double A.
He was at high A, and then he was at high A.
It's a couple years away.
High A. I'm sorry, high A versus low A.
He kills it this year. He could cook.
Yeah,
but that was the first half. They moved him up to double A in the second half. Did they not?
PCA? No,
because I watched him
in high A the whole year.
In the playoffs.
Right.
He started low. He started low A and then went to high A.
But he'll start this year in double A, and people get promoted from double A all the time if they're killing it.
Christopher Morel.
Yeah, Christopher Morel got called up from double A.
What I was told, and
they didn't expect to do anything.
I talked to a lot of people that watch PCA from Myrtle Beach and from South Bend, and every single one of them to a T says the glove can play major league right frickin' now. As far as the batting and some other stuff, there's some work to do, and there's no doubt about that.
Well, it's a good thing they really like defense in this league.
Yeah, but again, you don't want this guy could be a 5-tool player when you're talking about PCA, and you don't want to do anything to kind of screw that up. And so again, it's coming, and again, I know nobody wants to hear it. It's not fun, but
he's the third in the line.
Yeah.
So that's I'm not even getting to him yet because he's blocked by the other two guys technically, if you want to say it that way. Now here's the one mistake that they may have made, being that there's a dispensary so close to Wrigley Field, and that is that apparently Cody Bellinger likes to smoke the weed. He said, "I am not high during games." Okay. He said with a hand gesture, "If you look at me in the Little League World Series at 12 years old, I look faded. I was not smoking when I was 12 either. I'm not high. That's just how my face looks."
Which is resting high face.
Which is exactly what you would expect to hear someone say that's high all the time, right?
I'm not
the word
high,
faded is a high guy word. Faded? Come on.
Yeah.
No one who doesn't smoke weed uses the word
I can't wait. I want to see the Cody Bellinger traffic stop. Excuse me, you know how fast you're going? Dude, this is how I looked when I was 12, man. I'm not high.
I thought I smelled something, so
I can't wait for the Cody Bellinger bobblehead hobby day. And
turn it into a bong.
Right,
eating a brownie.
Instead of being on a boat, it'll just be him with like a 6-foot bong.
I do got to tell you guys though, that last year, one thing that I just still scratch my head about. I'm looking right now at the old Nick Magical bobblehead. Is that going to go down as one of the worst bobblehead? Like you had Ian Happ right there. It wasn't hard.
I tried to give it away at a Bleacher Bum Band show. And at the end of the show, I'm cleaning up and I'm like, "Hey, I gave this away. This was a prize." They're like, "Yeah, they didn't want it. You left it here." And now I got to try to give this thing away again. Nobody wants the thing. And by the way, that is also the prize for January's Patreon members. Nick Magical Baba. Well, let's talk about the other guy we got. Jameson Taillon. Middling pitcher, was on the Pirates. We saw him a lot. 4 years, $68 million. He was recently on the Yankees. He was very tall. He survived testicular cancer. So we know that he can take the ball in tough spots. So, but no, he's a hell of a middling pitcher. Like he's an innings eater. I'll put up his numbers. We could all gawk and ogle at them. I have them.
He's
somewhere.
Jason Hamill.
Yeah.
He's
Where does Jameson Tyone slot
There we
in
go.
with the lineup with the starting rotation we have now? A 3?
Three,
yeah,
that's
he's
kind of
three.
what I was thinking too.
Stroman steal than him.
Last year he took 177 innings, 177.1 innings,
Which is good nowadays, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, he's basically Nolan Ryan now.
I know.
Those innings. 391 earned run average, and a decent strikeout to walk ratio. That's kind of what stuck out to me. 7.7 strikeouts to 1.6 walks. That's
right.
good.
That's the key right there with him.
Yeah. So
He's a control guy. Yeah.
That's kind of nice, because we have a lot of pitch to contact guys. And I wouldn't call this guy, a strikeout king. I mean, I did just call him Nolan Ryan, but
so he was ranked 6th best pitcher in free agency. Okay, by Baseball Trade Rumors. So
we're number 6.
yeah,
We're number 6. Yeah.
you didn't get Verlander, you didn't get a couple of DeGrom, but again, I would have just
Rodon.
loved to seen Cub fans if we got DeGrom. Everyone would have been happy until that first injury, and he's throwing off flat ground, and now you just flush $250 some million down the toilet. So
Yeah, I wasn't in on the DeGrom. That was kind of surprising. He got that much money, but
It's a lot of money.
but still
A lot of years too.
He's
Rodon.
the same age as Kershaw. Isn't that crazy?
So
Kershaw
been
came
late.
up. Kershaw came up, but here's where he ranked.
Super
right?
young. Where DeGrom was 26. DeGrom was a 26-year-old rookie throwing 94 miles per hour. Now he's 34, throwing 101.
Right.
I wonder.
And he has a lot of injury issues.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
he's a juice head. I'm calling it right now.
the number one pitcher on the market ranked was Carlos Rodon, followed by Jacob DeGrom, Justin Verlander, Kodai Senga, who's still on the market, and Chris Bassett. Those are the top.
And
And then Tyone.
And here's what Tyone's throwing at you. This comes from Brooks Baseball. He's got a fastball at 94, slider at 86, a curve at 81, a sinker at 94, a cutter at 91. That's pretty hard. And a change at 88, which is pretty hard for a change. And they call him kind of a fly ball pitcher, which most of the time at Wrigley Field, it will be blowing in. I would call it, I don't know. It can really go either way. We all know that pitchers park to hitters park real quick, depending on the day and what the wind's doing. But I don't know.
Well, I'm just excited because Joe just told us if he throws 94, then there's a good chance he'll be up to 100 here in a year or two.
Yeah, exactly.
If he starts juicing, if he goes to the DeGrom School of Pharmaceuticals, yeah, he'll be great. I don't know if that's true about DeGrom. I just always thought that was fishy. I don't know why people don't talk more about how he was 26 throwing 94 and now he throws 100. It's strange to me. I've never seen a jump like that. And I'm not saying like 94 was his top speed, right? He's 94, 95. Now his average fastball DeGrom was 100 miles per hour. Although the Cubs seem to dominate him. If you look at his track record against the Cubs, we always light him up. And Schwarber in particular would hit him, and Hap hits him well too.
This is funny in the chat. Terry E talking about the Nick Madrigal bobblehead says it's actually life-sized. That is
Someone
true.
was looking for a magical bobblehead. I saw that, and I got and the memorabilia huckster in me was all excited.
Well, they can join the Patreon at
Join the Patreon, yeah.
patreon.com/sunranto, and they can win it next month.
For free. Well,
for
sort of.
free. Yeah, kind of. And Vince Shumate says, get Senga next. And I mean, now here's my question. Of course, like then you're going to, they're talking about 6 years for this guy, possibly. A lot of teams in on him. The Mets seem to be in on him. Everybody seems to be in on Senga, right? It's like everybody has been rumored about this guy. Japanese stud. Now, do you think this team's going for it in that way where now you're going to call this guy your ace, slot everybody back and really throw out what would Senga makes this a good rotation. Senga makes this a hell of a rotation. Any one of these top pitchers make it a good rotation. If you get a Justin Steele year like you did last year, if Marcus Stroman, every year, every guy sucks a little bit at their first year on the Cubs. And the second year, they're incredible. It's how it all goes. So, we're looking at a good, if you add Senga, and I'll put up his numbers, 29, kind of where Lester was when he got signed. Not comparing him to Lester, but I'm just saying, like, is this
Lester's
like
31 actually?
when he got signed? Yeah, so younger than him. So is this the kind of signing that would make you believe in this team this year? Like, win the division, deep playoff run? Like, would Senga be enough to say that you had it, or do you still need bats?
You need bats, and so the Facebook user put it, but you got Seiya Suzuki, right? And he's been recruiting Kodai for a while, and then Otani is a free agent next season. So imagine that, But it was Yu Darvish that got Seiya, who kind of convinced him to go to Chicago, and Seiya loves it here. So it would be absolutely phenomenal to get Kodai Senga and have those two guys on the team, and then boom, you get yourself Shohei Ohtani to play center or left, whatever, and then you can trade some of those prospects that you got, and then now you're cooking.
See, that's why you don't get Nimmo, because you're going straight Ohtani.
Straight Ohtani, baby. Kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Center fielder and a pitcher.
Yeah. So Dominic Galora says rotation full of threes. Yeah, I mean,
even Senga's a 3. That's what he's projected to be. He's not projected to be an ace.
right.
Stroman had a really strong second half, so hopefully he continues with that. And Steele, until they shut him down, was pitching kind of like an ace. I mean, he had a 3.20 ERA. I mean, Wisniewski was fantastic too. There's just the only reason. Look, I like the Jameson Tyone signing enough. It's fine. He's an innings eater. Every team needs a guy like that. My only thing was I feel like we have a lot of guys who have the potential to be that. So in my brain, I'm like, why not just save that money? I mean, that's why we're in a weird spot right now. The reason Cubs Twitter and Cubs fans in general were getting so excited about Bellinger and even Tyone was because it's like what the moves signify. On face value, if those are the only 2 moves of the offseason, obviously we're all going to be furious. But those moves were a signal that there's more to come. And that's why we're excited.
Cotton, do you buy that was a like, oh, how they say, like, oh, if we have this team in place, then they'll know that we're serious, and so then no doubt Correa's coming. So Bellinger means Correa, Senga means Correa. Do you buy that is the case?
No, I mean, it's
in a word.
They don't seem to be putting things together right now for like a real team. It's placeholders. That's what it feels like is placeholders.
Tyon's a 4-year deal. So
I like Tyon, but
okay.
Again, he's not an ace. He's not top of your list. I'm fine with him being on the team, but if you wanted to say we're going for it, we're going to actually do it, then you got to go out and you got to get somebody who's above Tyone.
I think Jason Hamill was a good comp.
I'm just
it is a good comp because Jason Hamill's
I'm looking at the situation though, and going around the diamond of what you needed. I just don't think to just be like, yeah, we're going to be World Series contenders. I think if you get Kodai Senga and you get Carlos Correa, I still don't think you're World Series contenders. Okay.
Well, division is what we want. Division contenders, because you got to get in.
Fine, go ahead and get in. That's fine with
fair, you only need
right.
Don't pretend like you don't want the extra playoff tickets. Don't pretend like you don't. You'd be the first one to be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in the playoffs. I'm at the game 1 or whatever."
We call it the end of season tournament around here.
Sure. The end of the season.
Then let's get the extra games. The end of the season tournament, whatever you want to call it. The Phillies showed anything. It's get in the playoffs. I don't know what happened to baseball fans over the last 5 years. I don't know if it's the nerdery fucking shit up, but it used to be get in the playoffs. You need to go to the dance to have a chance to get laid.
Then all the playoffs used to mean something.
It still does. It still does.
You just have to be barely above 500
with the least amount of playoff teams. It's still the sport with the least amount of playoff teams of the big 4. Soccer doesn't have playoffs. We still have the least amount of playoff teams. So even though they added 2, it's still the least amount of playoff teams. And once you get in, anything can happen.
I'm just gonna go this way, Joe. Is that when you're making the comp with Phil, when you're making a comp with Philly, you take a look. You had 2 great starters, right?
Sure, yeah.
You had Bryce Harper, who was the league MVP. You had some real pieces. It wasn't like all of a sudden that just happened last season.
Nick the Stick, Kyle Schwarber.
And that team was actually built for the end of season tournament. That was an end of season tournament type team. You just have to win a couple each week, like
eat the meatloaf.
It's not a long, they didn't do great throughout the whole season. They kind of, the Cubs swept them all the way through, including late in the year. But that team, once
barely
they
made the
made that
playoffs.
playoffs, they had
They
a
got
team.
hot at the right time.
Right.
That's my
And
Well,
point.
that's-
the teams are. I think the teams are two different teams. Like a team that's good throughout the year and actually wins a division and gets like 100 wins could easily be one of the first teams out, just because it's not. Everything changes when you get in there, and there's
The
a
Dodgers
tournament
were
team
like that
and
for years.
there's a season team. There's two different types of teams. It's really pretty different now, more so than it was.
That idea of teams
always been a
getting
little
in
bit
and getting
different.
hot and going on a massive run, that's not very common. Can it happen?
2019 Nationals. I can name 2 of the last 4. I mean, it's
Yeah.
more common.
Well,
than
how about the
people think.
Brewers
It's just that the
overtaking us?
projection people don't like it, so they hate it and they downplay
the
it.
Atlanta Braves
Zips
went in
doesn't
as
like it, and neither does all the other Fangraph shit. I used to be the biggest fucking homer. If I could turn the camera on, I could show you books upon books of sabermetric stuff, and I was all about it until
You
I
got the
started
Bill
to realize,
James?
wait a minute.
You got the Bill James?
I've got all of it. I've got the baseball prospectus books. I've got all that shit. And I'm now reading it. And now I'm getting, maybe you turn 38 and you realize, oh, wait, a lot of this is just on good faith. It's like, I put it in the computer and this is what it should say.
No.
There's a fucking human element here that we
All
keep
of it-
missing. And it's driving me nuts these last couple of years.
All of that stuff makes total sense over 162 games. But Bill James, Billy Bean, all these guys, they will tell you, hey, in the playoffs, it doesn't mean shit.
Right.
Like in the playoffs,
Yeah.
like we're just at the mercy of who's having good days, who's having good weeks, who's
Randomness.
hot right now. It's,
Yeah,
it's
I agree
way
with
more
that, yes.
random. That's why I'm saying it's a different, you can set up your team to be great throughout the season.
Well, and so
But
talk
they
about
could
Bellinger.
just die in the end of season tournament because they're not set for that.
Bellinger absolutely dog shit all year long. Goes into the playoffs last year, kills it, bats like 600 for like, it was just incredible. Like he was
Jock
like
Peterson does that. Jorge Soler does it. There are some guys who
Kyle
turn it on in
Schwarber does
October.
that.
Schwarber turns it on.
He
Well, I mean,
did it for
Schwarber did
us.
46 in the regular season. So, but like, it wasn't that
Yeah.
surprising. He went
Well,
nuts.
but he's got a history of turning it on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sure, he does. And again, I don't mean to get like all. I understand you want to be built for a deep run, and I think that is smart. My thing is this, and Crawley, you were going to make the point. I think we kind of ran over you about how the fact that the Nationals had Wheeler and Nola, who are a great 1-2 punch. My point is that it used to be, sure, like while you're building yourself up, this is to me a year like 2015 turned out to be, where you could aim to contend, aim to win your division, aim to get into the playoffs. People forget teams that are in the hunt could add. Maybe there'll be an ace available in mid-July that we could add that puts us into the conversation of being a dangerous team come October. That's what I'm looking for. Let's be competitive enough so that we have an exciting trade deadline, not one where we're like, well, which team has ranked prospects? Like that's what I was doing the last 2 years, looking at, oh, this team's, they might want to get rid of that AAA pitcher that's doing well. I don't want to be in that situation again. That's boring as a fan. We can make progress while still developing and still like keeping your eye on the future. Obviously, if Bellinger's killing it, we're out of it. Yeah, you want to flip him, of course. But I'm just saying that like there's more to be done. And if we miss out on Correa or Bogarts or even Swanson, I like, but come on, he's not going to make a difference offensively.
Right. They make it seem like it's like these 4 guys, and it really is a 3-man race on that.
Well,
What
and
about getting
now,
Rodon
too,
then? If we miss out on all of them, get Rodon if we miss out on
Yeah.
them. Because then at
give
least
him
that's
some
a
years.
scary pitcher in the playoffs.
Well, let's
He
talk
scares
about
people.
Correa, because the Cubs seem to be still like deep in on that situation. That's the rumor anyway. Cubs are deep in. They got all this money to spend. That's all anybody's talking about is that they just the checkbook is open. Last year was with Minnesota, had an amazing year. OPS plus of 140. He hit 22 bombs. He OBP of 366, 834 OPS. I mean, probably the most middling defense maybe of some of these guys. Like definitely not maybe not the glove of maybe it doesn't have Dansby's gloves. I don't think.
Right.
Dansby, I think what he gives you is amazing. He's probably a glove. I don't want to say glove first, but that is definitely a stronger part of his game than his bat. So between Correa and then Xander Bogaerts, who now it looks like he might be going back to Boston. Now, what I like about Xander is the 377 OBP, 131 OPS, 15 bombs, so less power, but still like and a lot of veteran know-how. He's been in the league for 10 years, like a little bit longer than Correa. And then you got Dansby, and then it falls way off. OPS under 800, 776. 25 bombs, though, strikes out quite a bit. 182 strikeouts, but that's in 696 plate appearances. Dude was out there every single game last year. 162, all 162, 160 the year before. So, all things being equal, which they're not, what do you think the Cubs do? Are they definitely getting one of these guys? Like, do they have to make it a successful offseason and build for the future?
Yes, they have to. As Joe said, center field placeholder, no problem. You can't do that at shortstop. There's nobody coming up in the not too distant future, and you need somebody to build around, right? And so who else why wouldn't you you have to make this move?
That's a great question. Who are they building around?
This is right.
On
and
this
so
team, not who they might get. Who do they have to build on?
Right.
To everybody here. Like, I don't know who that is.
And that's where it has to be Correa. I'm sorry. I know people like Xander, he's great. And Swanson, we said, no, you have to get, what I tell you is, and everyone saw oh my God, it was so bad. The marquee lineup that they put up today.
Oh, I got it for
God.
you.
Oh boy.
There it is.
Oh.
Saying the quiet part out loud.
Ew.
It's like literally Horner, Suzuki, Happ, Wisdom, Bellinger, Morel, Mervis, Gomes, and Madrigal.
I like the quote at the bottom, Mervis in minor leagues.
Yeah, I love that. Like, he's got a 980. He's the only one above 800 on here. It's 984, but yeah, that's all minor leagues.
That's all AAA. Yeah.
But
the DH.
No,
the
it wasn't all
worst
AAA.
OPS on the team.
It was he went
Single,
A, double A,
yeah.
triple A.
The DH, Michael, go ahead and make the point.
Yeah, no, yeah, I pointed out that the DH on this team has the worst OPS on the team. So
588.
They're really making the most of that position. Let's go get
hitter.
this big bomber. We're gonna really turn the
Basically
offense up.
same OPS of Kyle Hendricks.
But this is the guy you got to build around. And when you look at that, there is nobody in that lineup. And I'll even say that this year, even with Wilson in the lineup, there was nobody in the lineup that really, like, pitchers were like, ooh, like, there's no one that freaked you out, man. You need somebody. You need someone that can mash. And that's Correa, no doubt. Not to dismash Mervis, but you need somebody that can rake. Let's go that route. You need somebody that can rake, and you need to build around somebody. He has to be your John Lester. It was that John Lester signing that when you talk about that, everyone's like, oh, okay, well, now we're doing something here.
Agreed.
And so to me, Bogarts doesn't do that. And to me, Swanson doesn't do it. There's one guy left in this free agent market that does that. And it is Carlos Correa. I read a story about when he was doing some pre-draft workouts for the Cubs. And I want to say Dale Swaim was the manager. And he's like, the wind was blowing in, the type of day. And he said the guy was just putting bomb after bomb in the bleachers. This is a guy you need. And so he has experience in the postseason, a la Lester. He's dominant at his position, a la Lester. And he's a guy that commands respect. And that's it, period. To me, if you don't get Correa, that's, for me, where I'm just kind of like, as long as he's still on the board, I have faith. I believe the second he's off the board and the Cubs don't have him, I don't, you can try to do the pitching and defense and try to get a couple timely hits. I don't know how confident I am in that.
Yeah.
I would still be pumped if they got Bogarts, but I agree with everything you said. Correa is the guy.
And I would love to see Correa and Rodon. Like, why, it's always this stuff where we're talking about like one player here, one player there. It's like, you should go get both those guys and really say something.
Cerami put this out. They said the luxury tax payroll's up to 176. So if they wanted to stay under it, which there's no reason to, they could go over it this year, 1 year, and have no problem. But we all know how the Ricketts family feels
right,
about
because they're going to
taxes.
lose $40 million next year just on Bellinger and
Hayward alone. Yeah.
So,
and then Hendricks rolls off. They'll lose a lot of money next year. So they could
theoretically Stroman could opt out.
Stroman could opt out. So they could go over next year or over this year, go under next year
in a reset,
and then go crazy, and it resets. Or so they're in financially they're in a very good place. Financially, they've been in a good place financially since after the 2020 season. Like they didn't
Biblical
even need to trade
losses.
Darvish. 40 million was coming off the payrolls after 2020 naturally. They traded Darvish, which they needed, and cut Schwarber, which cut that payroll by 60 million. I don't want to go in the past, but when
Yeah.
people bring up we're in great financial position, I'm like, well, we've been. I agree though. Correa needs to be that guy. If not, it really does hamper everything.
Did you hear that rumor about that they were going to get Xander and Dansby?
Swanson?
Yeah.
This isn't the
Zansby.
NBA, you know.
I mean,
the
what
NBA,
kind
that
of-
happens.
But you know what? We haven't had
could.
winter meetings in so long. The off season. I mean, how many shows did we put together where we were just kind of scrambling for bits and whatever we could do to fill space because
Yeah.
2020,
Those were fun shows,
2021, where we were like, oh shit, there ain't nothing to talk about.
I did a little bit of that. The other day, it looked like we were going to get Xander. I thought of Colonel Sanders. So I did a face match of Colonel Sanders and Zansby.
That's why he's going back to Boston. He saw what you did.
He saw that. He's like, those fucking Cub fans are nuts. I can't abide by this. So we got to get into this. There's one piece of terrible news, awful news, and one piece of good news, and then we'll let you guys go, and we'll continue on with the show. Yeah,
we did watch Sammy Sosa.
We
cartoon.
watched Sammy Sosa.
Was it Papa Joe?
Yeah,
That was
Papa
the
Joe.
creepiest cartoon I've ever seen in my life.
I bought it on Amazon.
Papa Joe's like stumping Sammy's mom and just like, here's a baseball glove, kid. Just don't say nothing.
Yeah, you remember they would open the door and he'd come out. He's like, "Here, take this baseball glove. Get out of here, kid."
And that's how he hit 696 bombs, whatever it was. 636, I think is something like that.
No, it's 602.
609.
609, Mr. 609.
So, I've been saying it like as soon as that we knew Yachty was retiring, and we knew it was the same year that Wilson's career with the Cubs, and he was going to get his big contract. It just made sense that they were going to line up perfectly. And I've been saying it, I know on this show, at least for like a year since we realized that. I think even altogether, we realized like, oh no, this could really happen. Well, it's happened. And I tweeted about it. The only tweet I could find about it was on August 2nd, where I said Contreras to the Cardinals confirmed. And that's when Juan Soto came off the board. Katie Wu, who is one of the beat writers for the Cardinals, said their Cardinals are looking to add a bat or pursue catching. And there it was.
I could tell you this. I am shocked. I joked about that over the summer. And somebody, I forget who, said, don't put that even out there in the air or whatever.
It's not witchcraft.
And
freaking business.
But what I would tell you is I was shocked because of the emphasis that the Cardinals place and the way that a catcher handles the pitching staff.
Cardinal way.
Right. And so is it going to suck to see Wilson in red all these times? Absolutely going to be awful. Absolutely going to be miserable. I'll stick by my same theory. I will never boo a 2016 guy. I will just not cheer when they come up to the plate. I will tell you this, though. Careful what you wish for. I think, and this, I have nothing on this. I'm just kind of saying, I think that Wilson was bitter about what Dusty did. Wilson could have had 2 World Series rings, and it was Dusty that deal was done. And Dusty blocked it. So there was a trade in place that the Cubs had with the Astros, and Dusty effing blocked it. So Dusty screws us again.
Now, here's we can get back at the Cardinals, big time. And Dominic Galoro suggests Matt Carpenter is still available for DH.
You could take his shitty.
He is a
salsa.
lefty.
We use the salsa king of Chicago here, but
will he be able to be a better option than Madrigal though?
yes.
I mean,
Of course,
588
of course,
OPS.
But I'm honestly going to just say this, though. Careful what you wish for, because I think that Wilson should have gone to Houston. That was the smart play. Now, you sit there and you go to St. Louis. I just remember how Dexter Fowler was absolutely hated on by the best fans in baseball, quote unquote, for the podcast listeners. Hated on. His career in St. Louis was miserable. And so here's what you got. Number one, you are Wilson Contreras. What does he want to do? He wants to catch. I guarantee you they don't want him to catch. They want him to DH, maybe catch once a week, play some left field. They don't want him to do that. He is following in Yachty's shoes. And you know that to Cardinals fans, Yachty is the second coming of Christ. Okay. He is the greatest thing that ever existed in all of baseball. And so every time a ball gets past him, every time he doesn't catch it the right way, anytime that happens, he's going to hear about it. And Wilson's one of those guys that sometimes takes criticisms personally, a la blocking Danny Rockets, a la having to have a sit down with David Kaplan at his house. He takes things personally.
He runs hot. He
does not have thick skin. And the second he bat flips and somebody bitches, well, here in St. Louis, that's not the Cardinal way.
They're gonna fall in love with that bat flip because he's gonna save it until he's in Wrigley. And then he's gonna bat flip to the moon like he did on the south side.
White Sox, which I love.
Yeah.
I promise you.
And then all of a sudden, Cardinals fans everywhere are gonna love the bat flip.
I'm just telling you, I foresee not good things happen with Wilson. And I remember where Dexter looked like at every video, it looked like a hostage video. He's like, I love it here. It's so great in St. Louis. And his eyes were just screaming, help me.
Didn't Dexter bat like 189 his first year with them? So I think that probably hurt him a lot. Yeah, true.
But,
and I love Dex. And I thought, I hate Cardinal fans. Don't get me wrong. I did predict this though. I tweeted these predictions. I looked at my phone on November 8th. I tweeted it. I wrote it down on my notes app first. I was wrong about Judge. I had Judge going to the Dodgers, wrong on that. I had DeGrom Yankees, wrong there. Turner Phillies, got that shit. Bogarts Cubs, Rizzo Yankees, I stuck with. Contreras Cardinals, I wrote. But I would be curious though, why there's no way he didn't discuss with the Cardinals his role. He probably he signed with them because they're going to let him catch. There's no way he would have chosen a spot.
He's catching.
He's a proud man. He's going to catch. He's going to be their number one catcher this season.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you because they had Andrew Kanizer or whatever that dude's name back there. And he's like batting 212 and I don't know how he receives the ball. I mean, he did have a couple hundred at bats. So, Yachty was hurt, quote unquote, most of the year.
Going to basketball tournament.
Yeah, he was down in Puerto Rico managing a basketball team instead of his job. Then he just showed back up for the playoffs. But
so let me ask you a question. What are the odds that Wilson catches Wainwright?
I don't know about like what Wainwright's tendencies are. He might be a little bit whatever, but Contreras caught Lester for 4 seasons and they seem to get along all right there. I think a lot of the Contreras' bad defense shit is totally overrated. There's a Twitter account at Rushing Baseball that tweeted out a bunch of stats that showed that that's kind of a lie. And it's really, he's more average defensively and even slightly above average with the running game and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe the Cardinals could turn it around. I do find it interesting that the 2 biggest teams linked to Wilson Contreras this offseason are the St. Louis Cardinals and the Houston Astros. 2 teams that seem to know what they're doing when it comes to building winning teams. Like I don't like, and it pains me to say that. So I hope the Cardinals go 0-162. But as much as I hope the Cubs beat the Cardinals every game they play them 10-0. But I hope Contreras goes 4 for 4 in every one of those games.
Let me ask you this though, really quick here: is that who is going to do the majority of catching in Houston, no matter who they got?
I don't know. Maybe Maldonado.
Maldonado.
Maybe.
That's who they feel is one of the best game callers and the guy that handles the pitching staff.
Good game caller. A lot of pass balls with that guy. I looked up.
Maybe that's why he didn't go to Houston.
Because Christian Vasquez is coming. He got traded from Boston to Houston. Ends up getting a ring with Houston this year. He's one of the guys that the Cubs are very closely linked to. The bat's not really there. I mean, it's obvious that that's not what the Cubs are valuing right now. They're going to value it as a defensive position over an offensive position. That's why it was obvious they weren't going for Wilson and they couldn't even get a trade for him. That's what's really kind of frustrating. Like same thing. They could not put a trade together. Now we get some like BS draft pick, like in the 2nd round. And then, so maybe in 5 years, there might be a guy that we got extra because Wilson Contreras signed with the freaking Cardinals. And the Cardinals probably get a compensatory pick for this, don't they?
No, actually, Theo took it away. Theo took it away.
Huh?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Theo, thank you, Theo, once again. But I'm just putting up Vasquez's number. We're talking about a 32-year-old catcher here. Like, none of us are going to get excited about this. Is he good handling a young staff? Probably would make a lot of sense to have a veteran catcher do that. You already got Gomes, who's going to take about half of them. He's even older. And then the only one that excited me was the idea that Sean Murphy might be available. You could take some of these prospects you've been stacking up in your prospect pervert land, and you flip one of them and get yourself a nice young major league catcher who also not. I mean, he's got some pop with the bat. I'll give it. He had 18 home runs last year, Sean Murphy for the A's. He's stuck in Oakland where they're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. But
Literally and
really,
figuratively.
yeah. But his game is being a great defensive catcher as well. So I don't know much about him. I haven't watched Sean Murphy play, but I do know. And Joe, you could probably agree with me on this. Guy named Sean Murphy probably doing pretty damn well in the city of Chicago as a Sean Murphy.
He'll be
Blarney
popular
Stone.
for sure.
Yeah.
I would love. Yeah, I mean, Sean Murphy's a great catcher, and he's got 3-4 more years of control. That's why it's a bummer that we had these outfield injuries, because a lot of people expected the Cubs to trade from that depth to fill some holes. But then you have, I mean, we saw Brennan Davis a week ago. He says he's 100% healthy. I believe him. He looked great. They only took him out of the winter league games as precautionary measure, which made sense. He was only playing, not winter league games, Arizona Fall League. I'm sorry. Yeah. He was only playing in the AFL because he had the back injury, and they were like, let's get a few more bats. Otherwise,
and it wasn't a back injury. It was a nerve injury.
Nerve. Sorry. Yes, you're correct there. And I still have high hopes with Davis. I feel like Davis got forgot just because he got injured. Like everyone acts like he's some old man now. He's 22. The dude's 22, 6'4", jacked. Like, I mean, I think he's going to be good. I just wish, I don't know. I mean, if we're going to go defensive catcher route, fine. I just don't like the disrespect that I'm seeing towards Wilson. I mean, this guy did catch game 6 of the NLCS. He started game 7 of the World Series. So clearly he was catching well enough to throw. I mean, Hendricks, we shut out the Dodgers in game 6 of the 2016 NLCS. I don't recall anyone being like, oh, this guy's a terrible catcher or anything like that. He's a little jumpy back there, which might annoy some veteran pitchers.
Which I feel
but
like
Stroman and Hendricks sung his praises last year.
The whole terrible catcher thing didn't really come up until, the front office was kind of like, we don't want to have him anymore. So, then all that started to leak a little more. And then, but I remember the first year that came out might have been true. The following year, he jumped to like 15th.
He used to be really bad. Yeah. He used to be bad. And then he worked with his brother. He worked with his brother, William, in Atlanta. Right. And got better at it.
So yeah, that's not a guy I want. I don't want a guy who, if we point out where he's bad, he gets good at that part. That's a terrible player to have on your team.
You shouldn't have
just
to work
don't
at
bash
anything.
the guy. I don't understand why fans have to bash him. If you want to say, hey, good luck, Wilson. It sucks that you're a Cardinal. I wanted the Cubs to go in a more defensive direction. That's fine. But I don't understand. Like, there's this weird thing. I think it's like a defense mechanism. Like when a guy gets dumped by a girl, it's like, well, I didn't fucking like her anyway. She sucked in bed and she blah, blah, blah. She was always interrupting me. Like, that's what we're doing with players who provided the best memories for us. It just bothers me. Stop doing that, guys.
I saw in one of those Facebook Cubs groups today, a dude that said he is going to burn his Wilson Contreras jersey, and that everyone who has one should burn their Wilson Contreras jersey as well.
Do it.
I'm gonna buy it off him.
Just because he thinks that Wilson specifically went to the Cardinals because he hates Cubs fans.
To get back at Jed. I heard some of that. Yeah. I was looking probably at the same places.
And if he wants to get back at Jed, that's fine. He didn't hate the fans. He didn't hate the city. Yeah. But I could see hating Jed. I fucking hate Jed. Yeah. I don't even know the guy. He just fucking annoys the shit out of me.
Did you see this? And I don't know how much credence there is to this. But Ben Frederickson tweeted out. Now, who is Ben Frederickson? He looks like he's like a beat writer in his picture.
I think he's a Cardinal beat writer, I think.
Yeah. Ben
$8 blue check.
Fred, he's got the blue. Anybody can buy that now for
right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of bullshit out there on Twitter right now. Yeah, there's a lot of people I saw got blue check marks that like I saw before and probably don't. Whatever. We'll get it. No time for that now. But John Lester's endorsement of Wilson Contreras was part of the St. Louis Cardinals fact finding on the free agent. Two worked well together, and Lester, who also played for the Cardinals, could be particular with catchers and had issues throwing to first base. Lester is a big supporter of Wilson. So the fact that Johnny Lester is out there standing for Wilson for the Cardinals, I mean, that's a tough.
Unless he's working as a secret double agent.
Yeah, but also, didn't we hear that Yachty had kind of talked him up a little bit too? Like, Yadier Molina
Wilson's
likes him too. I
awesome.
mean, it's
This might be one of the biggest mistakes in Cubs history.
everyone likes him except for Jed.
Wait,
true. And David Ross, I think.
You are thinking that this move is going to be the worst
No.
in Cubs
One
history.
of it will
One
go
of
down
them.
as one
See,
of the
Charlie,
worst.
you've made this
One-
argument before that it's not a big deal because he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. It's still a shitty. It's one of the worst ones because of the entire situation. This is
Okay,
one of our
this is-
16ers going to the Cardinals when the Cubs could have had him and should have locked him up and didn't. And it's just going to be a fucking pain in our ass the rest of the time he plays.
5 years of just like,
So you think for 5 years it's going to be Wilson Contreras that just absolutely dominates the Cubs and puts the Cardinals over the top, and then we're going to have to hear about the 12 rings and all that because
rings,
of
14
13
rings,
because of
15
Wilson.
rings.
This is what you're for.
Cardinals are closer to that 12th ring than the Cubs are to their 4th.
All I'm asking you is that
true.
think about the long history of the Cubs. I do not see it being in the top 10 worst deals they've ever made. No.
I mean, the Cubs have been terrible for a long ass time. So like, there's a lot of terrible moves.
I know that's a pretty low bar.
Yeah,
like
right.
it,
You got
there's-
Brock
there's 10
Fabrolio.
worse
I'm
deals
thinking
in
about
the
the
Cubs' bad
marquee
fucking
marquee countdown show where they have big voice guy who goes, and now number 10.
You let Maddox go.
Bill
That's up
Madlock.
there. Bill Madlock, a bad one.
Brock Fabrolio's number one.
Brock
of course.
Fabrolio's.
Letting Schwarber, non-tendering Schwarber was,
Yeah.
I think, could
Kenny
will
Lofton
one
was
day
a good,
be a
a
top
good guy
10.
that they
Yeah,
should
Kenny
have gotten
Lofton
rid
was
of.
stupid. Even letting
Yes.
Dex go, you can make an argument, although he didn't play that well the next few years.
Never
Sometimes
replaced
I
him,
think,
though. You
Yeah,
never replaced
yeah.
him.
although people forget, in 2018, the Cubs had the highest on base percentage in the National League from the leadoff spot. People forget that. Zobrist was actually awesome in 2018.
I forgot it.
Yeah, in 2017 we struggled in the leadoff spot. 2019, 2020, but 2018
Joe,
we were actually
that
really
only
good there.
tells me that it would have been better with Zobrist and Dexter, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
I
and there
get
are
what
some
you're saying.
players-
You're right, but Dexter wouldn't have hurt that situation.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there are some players, people forget sometimes that like players play better in different situations. Like Nick Castellanos had a terrible first year in Philly. He might turn it around or he might be
Right.
bad the rest of the way. But I really do believe if he would have stayed in Chicago because he loved it here so much and he just gelled here, you just do better in different places. Now, Crawley, like he's a very successful man where he is right now. If he had to pick up and move to Little Rock, Arkansas, he wouldn't be the same Crawley we know and love. He would lose a little bit of that pep to his step. So, and different players play in different situations. You know, I always thought Jose Quintana to me was a type of pitcher who didn't like big games, although he pitched well in the playoff game. Because if you know, think about it, every now and then there's a player that kills it in a small market. They go to a big market and they kind of shit the bed. And it's like, yeah, it's a little different when you got 40,000 people in the world paying attention to you.
Right.
So who knows? Who knows? is my
You know,
point.
remember when, God, who is that super tall guy? Now all of a sudden, Schilling and Randy Johnson, when he went to
Randy
the
Johnson.
Yankees, he couldn't do shit. He absolutely hated it. Like people would come up to him on the street, like the New York press, and he'd be like, leave me the hell alone. And he'd get all mad and he's like flustered. He never did it there. But like when you talk about Seattle or Arizona, it's fine.
It's great.
Well,
He's
let's
great.
talk
He's a
about
great
one
for a
guy.
year and he looked good.
One guy who's been incredible on the big stage for quite a long time in our lives. And we got this is the good news that we got today, which is Pat Hughes, winner of the Ford C. Frick Award, going to the Hall of Fame. Finally, they put his name up on the marquee. Pat Hughes, congratulations, Ford C. Frick. And just a wonderful
Do you
honor.
have the story time with Crawley drop?
I could get it.
Damn it.
if you could give me a second, I'll get you a story time with Crawley drop. But what I did enjoy was when I did not know that he lived with my great aunt Betty. I had no clue. He's got like a little Afghan and some like
Time out.
Christmas
They,
You
they
were-
had to pull the plastic off the couch because it was fucking with the lights.
Time out. You were making fun of his famous sweaters earlier, and you thought he lived in some modern Asian type home or something. Like, what did you think? Did
Well,
you
he-
think
he
that he?
dressed
I
like
would have
the
been
Man in
shocked if
Black,
that's
like, he
not
looks
what he
good.
lived in. I like the little Hummels and whatever he's got in the back corner and stuff like that. This is exactly what I would expect of Pat. If he would have like seriously some super modern architecture type home, that would totally be out of character.
It would be quite. Okay, I got it.
Story time with Crawley, with Crawley, with Crawley. Story time. time with Crawley. It's Crawley story time.
All right, true story. The only reason it took Pat Hughes until 2023, it was kind of my fault. I jumped the gun. In 2020, Pat Hughes was up for the Hall of Fame, and I was 100% certain that he would get into the Hall of Fame. So much so, I contacted some different people, Austin Plock, our friend. I had a shirt made up of Pat Hughes, those shirts. He's got a chance, the ball's got a chance. But the original first shirt was congratulations, Pat Hughes 2020 Hall of Fame.
Oh, you raised the W flag in the
I
seventh
raised
inning,
the
didn't you?
W flag before the final out. And so I'm excited. We got these shirts ready to go, the 2020. And now luckily they were drop shipped, so they're not in Kenya or something right there or anything like that. But I seriously was so absolutely certain. We're sitting here, same as I was today on Baseball Hall, refresh. And I take a look, and the winner of the 2020 Ford Frick Award was motherfucking Hawk Harrelson.
I know that couldn't have been worse for you, or for all of us, really.
Oh,
Put it on the board. No.
Oh my God. I was stunned. We had Pat on Fly the W a week ago, actually. And I didn't bring up the Hall of Fame because I knew he's really kind of, I didn't want to jinx him. I know how nervous, and he really, really wanted this, man. And we had a Coom Dog today. We had Coomer talking about him, and we all know, I forgot what the year was, 26 years he's been doing this for the Cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely, he broadcasted with Harry, just a phenomenal guy, the best in the business, the guy who seriously has made so many miserable seasons enjoyable. Matt Kammer going to draw a Pat Hughes map. That's going to be awesome. But it comes down to one of those things where it was long overdue. And I will get in this argument a million times. There is no way in any kind of existence, in any multiverse, where Hawk Harrelson is a better announcer and more worthy of Hall of Fame induction than Pat Hughes. None. Zero.
None.
Aren't you gonna love it when it's Hawk putting the jacket on on Pat, just out there like the first one to shake his hand and give him the jacket and do all that? It's gonna be Hawk.
I just see him in the corner scowling.
Maybe the hologram.
And by the way, I literally just looked up to see if Hawk Harrelson was dead before I said that.
No,
He's alive.
I didn't want to say something and be like, "Oh,
Who was
fuck,
Harry
he's
Carey
dead."
though?
I
In
thought-
hologram form.
Yeah, real quick. I thought he was already announced to be in the Hall of Fame. What was that thing that Crane Kennedy told him in the booth? Was that the Cubs
that
Hall
was
of
the
Fame?
Cubs Hall of Fame.
Cubs Hall, where they
The
put
Cubs
him on
Wall of Fame out there in left
Was there any
field.
worry? Did he have any worry there? Like, you know what I mean? Every now and then you hear about someone making something, you're like, well, no shit. Like that was, were you shocked?
Well, again, Mark Grace is in the Cubs Hall of Fame. Jose Cardenal's in the Cubs Hall of Fame. There's a lot of guys in the Cubs Hall of Fame that are not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, no, I
So-
get that, but like I'm just saying that when it was announced that Pat Hughes was going to the Cubs Hall of Fame, it almost made me go, "How is he not part of our inaugural thing?"
It really
You
did.
know?
It really did confuse everybody, and it confused us. Like how the same thing
Yeah.
that you just said is like, why the hell wasn't he inducted in the first? They have like, so they have the weirdest dude. They have a dude that is inducted into that Hall of Fame that's not even wearing a baseball hat. He's like, it's so old. I never heard of this guy's like names like Billy, like Billy Jung or something like that from like 1901. He's literally wearing like a train conductor hat in his shirt. I'm like, no Cub fan has ever heard of this guy ever. And like he made it in there before freaking Pat Hughes. Like,
And the issue that you had to deal with is they changed it. This is the first year they changed it. The way that it used to go was it was 3-year cycles. So that's why Pat didn't get in till now. And so, I mean, like that absolutely crushed him in 2020, not getting in. He was so disappointed. And it's not, I don't want to say it's not as big a deal now because you can, so they're doing it in so it used to be, it was regional broadcaster. So like someone that's with the Cubs or the Sox or the Brewers or whatever. And then it would go to a national broadcaster, someone like an Al Michaels or, something to that degree. And then the third year was like old timey baseball, wearing train conductor hats. And that was the 3 things. Now it's going 4 years. It could be any of either national or local. And the 5th year is the old timey people. So, Pat Hughes, if he didn't get in this year, he would have gotten in next year. But I was nervous. I was literally, talking to Pat's people before it happened, and my hands were clammy and sweating because I knew the call was coming in at 12 o'clock. And so, I was just in a flop sweat. I just wanted him to get it.
Now, are Pat's people the same people that knit that Afghan? Just
No,
Yeah.
no.
Just picturing
Well, I mean,
his people are just like these old ladies. Hey,
I'm sure it kind of.
Pat's not here right now.
I like it. It says someone probably said, "Hey, do you want a blanket?" He goes, "No, I got this one from 1978. I don't need another blanket. Too many blankets, too many pillows." He doesn't have a bed with 45 pillows on it like some people are forced into. I'm sure it meant a lot to him, or he took it so hard last time because he knows how much it sucked seeing Ranto get in after he died.
Yeah.
So he probably was like, "Shit, this sucks that I didn't get in 2020,
Especially in
over
2020,
that guy
right?
who 8
The
miles
year
down
that
the
everybody was
road."
mad.
Yeah, people were dying left and right in 2020. So, and Fred McGriff got mentioned. Dominic Galaro.
Galoro.
Yeah.
Galaro.
Fred
My
McGriff.
fault. I
Galoro.
can't read.
The
My
crime
eyes.
dog.
Which I love. I love that he got in. I didn't realize how good he was for us. He only played, we had to beg him to waive his no trade in 01 against Tampa, but then he had a full season with us in 02, and he was awesome. He had 30 home runs, 103 RBI, 858 OPS. He was a very good player for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crime dog. I remember.
Bad
Yeah, but looking at Pat, it's like you said. I mean, I am not going to London. I made the decision that I did not want to go to London. I just looked at the Field of Dreams and had so much fun there. I looked at the stadium in England. I'm like, me. It's just it's like they put a baseball field inside of a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
Just
exactly
not
what
that
they did,
super
yeah.
impressed. And so, but now
Crawley's only up for baseball fields in cornfields.
loved it.
Not
Loved
soccer
it,
stadiums.
Loved it. But I am honestly now thinking about a trip to New York to Cooperstown.
Yeah. That'd be very cool. And my nephew and my sister and brother-in-law went last year. And if you haven't been, it's just incredible, especially that weekend. If you can, get your hotel now because there is nowhere to stay around all
Nothing.
that place. So and that's just my advice to everybody, that if you're going to go and want to celebrate that with Pat, like look into it now because it gets booked up real fast. And Crawley, I can't wait to hear your podcast with Coom Dog. I love the Coom. I still want to go out to Coom's Corner and have the Bleacher Band play.
That's where he broadcasted it from. That's where he recorded it today. They have a coat drive going on in Lockport at Coom's Corner. And I said, "Are we still on for the live podcast at Coom's Corner?" He said, "Absolutely, anytime."
Got to get out there. So I'm dropping the link for the Apple podcast link for Fly the W podcast. And also, Joe, you've got a show coming up real soon on Friday. And let's see, I made a note as to where that is. The Laughing Academy in Glenview. And tickets are what, $25 or something like that? And then there's
Yes,
20 people.
$25, and it's BYOB, so that's why the ticket price is a little high. Normally,
it's not
$25.
bad.
It's not bad, but it's BYOB. It's at the Laughing Academy. It's I did
Dropping the
venue
link.
last year. Yeah, drop the link in there. So if you're in the northern burbs, even northwest burbs, Glenview's not too far, easy to get to. It's Old Glenview Road over there, and it's gonna be a great time.
I saw Joe's show in Schaumburg, and it was an absolute blast. I took the wife. We had a good time
Thank you, Crawley.
Yeah. So
at the Improv, right?
Yeah, at the Improv out in Schaumburg. I was there. a
I
couple
like
weeks
it.
ago.
Like at the Improv, right? That was you.
wait, was that me?
Well, it's
pretty
called
sure
like
I
the
was
Chicago.
there, but,
It's called, isn't it called the Chicago Improv? But it's in Schaumburg.
Yeah, it's the Chicago Improv in Schaumburg, and it's not improv; it's stand-up comedy. But it's called It's a chain of comedy clubs called the Improv, short for improvisation, because they started off as jazz clubs that then started to bring on stand-up comedy, and then they just became a stand-up comedy thing. Even though it's kind of like the Utah Jazz. Why are you still called the Utah Jazz? Change the goddamn name. And I really wish they were just called the stand-up. Call them the stand-up comedy clubs, and don't pretend you're in. I'm a fan of the Bears moving to Arlington, but you're the Arlington Heights Bears if that happens. I'm just a big believer in be the name of where you are. There's nothing wrong with living and being from the suburbs. Just admit that's where you are. Like, that's what kills me about calling the Chicago
I'm from
Improv.
Arlington Heights. I'm the Arlington Heights Rocket. That's what
There
they
you
call
go.
me.
The AH Rocket.
We grew up in Arlington Heights together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Didn't know each other.
Northwest suburbs well represented on this show. I'll tell you that much. So well, I wish you luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Hopefully, wish us all luck with this coming off season. Well, I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Stay tuned. We're gonna have a Patreon commercial. We're gonna come back and give away this amazing prize, which is a replica scoreboard signed by
I want it.
Crawley, making it a priceless heirloom for the whole family to enjoy. So, yeah.
Thanks,
So
Bernie.
thanks
everyone.
Thanks for coming on.
Danny's
And,
gonna text later about Crawley pissed off. I signed that for you, Danny.
Stay tuned. Drink Club 400 beer, and we'll be right back with
Just
more
so,
show.
just Danny, just so you know, you got that. We got those, and I signed it the night that they opened up the induction to the Hall of Fame, Cubs Hall of Fame.
Exactly. See, it's all coming full circle. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. We'll be right back. Stick tuned.
Later, guys.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today.
Okay, we are back, and we are ready to give away a prize to the Patreon person of the month. I'm going to bring up the wheel of names. Can you see the wheel of names, everybody?
Yeah, there it is.
All right, so I'm gonna click this to spin, and the winner will be receiving this
Ooh.
replica scoreboard.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get cheap airline tickets.
No. Ever since the pandemic, it made airplanes expensive somehow.
Chicago to San Diego, cheap airline tickets. I can see it on your screen.
Oh, I know. Let's click
that
out of
like
that.
an ad
No
for the-
free advertising on this show. Okay, we're clicking to spin. Round and round she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows except for the wheel of names. Who will be the winner? It is Jim Henry. Not
Oh,
to be
steel driving man.
Yeah, do not be confused with Jim Hendry. It's Jim Henry, a fine Patreon supporter. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon. You will be receiving a message from me telling you that you won. So congratulations. And let's talk. We're going to give away more in the show, but I did want to say that if you look on the top of our screen, there's a PayPal QR code. There's a Venmo QR code. If you're not a Patreon subscriber and you just want to give us $1 for doing this show, it's a great way to do it. $1, $5, $10. Let us know that you love us, because otherwise we won't know, and we may just stop doing this show now.
The only way we know that you love us is through singles.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just like strippers.
Basically,
If you don't stick something in our G-string, how do we know you?
how
like
do
us?
we know that we're loved by you? So let's talk about some players that were loved by some other teams around the major leagues. Thought I'd go through some of the big signings that have happened recently. I'm sure there's been more since we've gone on the air. But ex-Cub Jose Quintana, who had a hell of a time of it with the Pirates last year, ended up getting traded over to the Cardinals, and he did quite well. He got 2 years, $26 million over at the Mets. So
yeah, Mets don't give a fuck.
They're just spending
just
money.
spending. I love it.
If only our team was owned by a billionaire. That would be so awesome if we had a billionaire who spent his money on the team that he loves. Anthony Rizzo, this is old news at this point, but he did get signed by the Yankees, re-signed. It makes all the sense in the world. He loves it out there. Cubs really screwed up by not, and I know the money, and he could have stayed, but it wasn't enough, and there was insult. And either way, Anthony Rizzo will continue to perform. He got 2 years, $34 million, $17 million a year, pretty much, $40 million guaranteed. Jose Abreu, also old news. Cubs missed on him. He ended up getting 3 years, almost $20 million. That's, I think, more than, I mean, it was funny because a lot of people are like, well, that's more than I would have spent. And I'm like, well, guess what? You don't have to spend it.
Yeah.
Who cares? If you wanted Abreu, go get Abreu. Who cares if you need the extra year? Doesn't matter to me. He probably still hits.
All the money in the world. The Cubs don't have a first baseman. I mean, they have maybe with Matt Mervis, people talk about, or you're going to move Patrick Wisdom over there. I've heard that a lot too, and then you just don't have a third baseman. But I didn't think
maybe Morel now plays third, but we still don't quite know.
I didn't think Wisdom was that great at first. Maybe if he's there all the time, he'd be better, but
Wisdom strikes out half the time he's at the plate too. So you can upgrade all over the damn place, You
need these guys, and
Pincus says PJ Higgins. Yeah.
Abreu gets 3 for 58.5. No way the Cubs are touching that, especially when, they wouldn't give Rizzo even close to that. Rizzo's like 2 years younger than him already. And he's, going to be done with his contract a year before Abreu.
Robert Sanchez. I can't stand fans who worry about saving billionaires.
Oh, I know.
It's just like, well, we don't want to have to pay the luxury tax. That'd be terrible for us.
That was one of the things that kind of drove me nuts about the whole Bellinger signing as well. I think people like it because they're like, well, it's only 1 year. Then that money falls off, and that's a good. It's like no, we want good players, not a guy that batted 200.
Yeah,
why are you concerned about them? That they'll have more money next year. Like, spend your money now. You have plenty of it.
We also missed the other first base that was never really seriously talked about in terms of the Cubs was Josh Bell, 2 years, $33 million to the Guardians. And then, of course, we already talked about Trey Turner getting 11 years, $300 million. But God damn it, I like deals like that.
And no trade.
Makes me hard.
No trade cost.
No trade clause. That's what they did with Harper. They're like, you're our guy. We're sticking with you. And what that does to a person's mentality, like, I know what they say. Oh, if he has to play for it, it's competition that you need. I'm like, no, that is not true with capitalism either. Look,
right.
No, it's stupid because if I am totally, and they try to keep workers afraid for their jobs at all times. So you don't ask for a raise. You don't ever try to get more vacation time. So you don't have a good quality of life. So you don't get a retirement. So just you work for the bare minimum, give them the bare minimum, and they will compete and they will compete and they will do better to try to just get that little bit more. And that's what, philosophically, I think some of these owners who read too much Ayn Rand in their early 20s think. I think that's what they think. But I think the Phillies are thinking of it differently. And I agree with it, even from a capitalist point of view. Let's say all of a sudden I'm living more comfortably, or I even know that someday I will have a pension that I can live on. Americans don't have that. A lot of us don't have that. They're like, I'm going to eat cat food. It's like the number one thing that Gen X says. Someday we're all going to eat cat food. We're just be in there eating cat food cereal because we don't have a retirement. Social Security would be gone. Now, if you want to stimulate the economy, let me know that when I'm old, that there will be enough money so that I won't eat cat food. And guess what?
Because you'll spend your money now, right?
My money now. I'll spend it all. I mean, because you'd be over there tipping extra, 20% on dinner, like doing all this stuff. And instead, I'm like, no, I got to squirrel it away. I need $1 million. Otherwise, I will die eating cat food. That's and that's the Phillies mentality right now. They're like, we're going to bring this dude in. He will be our guy. We trust in him. We're going down with the ship and we believe him to age well. We're going to take care of our guy. He's going to be around a long time. We're going to do this together. And that is a different mentality. That is telling Trey Turner, you are set up. You don't have to compete in that way anymore. Now your job is to compete against every other team that plays the Phillies.
Yep. And the Cubs are over here and looking at the whole situation, and they're like, you know what? Let's invest in cat food.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
in 50 years, cat food's going to be fucking going through the roof. That's where we're at.
God, seriously. It's all cat food from here.
Oh, cat food. There's our new shirt.
I got to write that down. Yeah.
It's all cat food.
Yeah. I want to make a shirt that just says intelligent spending and show up down at Wrigley.
Yes.
So, I'm a fan of intelligent spending. And then Aaron Judge, 9 years, same thing. Yankees, they took care of their guy. Even all of a sudden, like Rizzo's all of a sudden their guy. Like, we're taking care of our guy. Rizzo, you're coming with us. You're our guy. No, he's going to get a statue at Yankee Stadium along with Aaron Judge. Like,
everybody thought Aaron Judge was going somewhere. Aaron Judge was just like, I just want to go see, maybe, but he ultimately is like, those places aren't really as good. Like, I really want to be a Yankee, and he knows what being a Yankee for life is going to mean. That's going to be a big deal for him. I mean, it is. I don't care what team you play for. It's a big deal to be there for your whole career. The other thing with Trey Turner, people are talking about the fact that San Diego offered him like $40 million more, and he didn't take that. And everybody's like, I can't believe he didn't take it. He didn't want to be in San Diego.
Yeah,
like
the weather is terrible.
But he was in Washington. He played with Harbor. He likes the East Coast. It wasn't about the money. When you hit 300 million, it's about where you're going to live. And he wanted to live on the East Coast, and he wanted to play with his friend. Like, he's fucking set up.
Yeah, he's born in Florida. I mean, whatever. It's the frustrating thing is that the Cubs are not playing in this world. That's what's there's a lot of money going out. Say what you want.
It's all cat food.
It's all cat food on our side of town anyway. And Cubs didn't get a single one. A little bit of house clean. I thought this was interesting. Braylon Marquez, who had been released, I guess, not tendered a contract, was then re-signed by the Cubs on a minor league deal. Then there was a bunch of so that's kind of good. He's still rehabbing his shoulder. We know him. He was supposed to be the secret weapon that everybody called him, and then he, just wasn't.
This is a throwing on flat ground scenario. They let him go. Nobody picked him up, and then they brought him back. Like, nobody wanted him. And I don't know. Well,
and he's obviously a talented guy. But it just hasn't come together. Injuries have set it back, and we just hope for the best because he was supposed to be a big part of the team. The Cubs lost a guy named Rylan Bannon. They lost a couple of guys in the Rule 5 minor league draft, so I don't think there's any point in going through those names. I mean,
I've never heard of Rylan Bannon ever.
Yeah, exactly. We got a guy named Jose Aquino, who the only tape on him that anybody could find that Bleacher Nation go take a look at this, that Bleacher Nation put in their article, was of him down in the Dominican Republic throwing on flat ground on just like dirt. Like, I don't even know if they measured 60 feet 6 inches. He just throwing. There's like a chicken walking around. Like, it is just not. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. I'm like, is this where we're at in the news cycle of Chicago Cub fans? Like, because those stories didn't used to get talked about at all, because there was good stuff happening that we wanted to talk about, like signing big players, which we don't do anymore. The last piece of news before we're going to do another contest, and is the that the Cardinals announcer, TV announcer, busted DUI. Dan McLaughlin. Jurgo Stuff says, I wonder if he was heading to Tony La Russa's on Facebook. Erratic driving on I-270. This is his third DWI arrest.
Persistent DWI offender. I love that it's persistent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep doing it. You can't stop me.
I persistently get in Ubers drunk, but that ain't illegal yet. McLaughlin, though, don't worry. He's got a good publicist, because he wrote via a text, no excuses. I'm dealing with this and seeking treatment that I need. I ask for your privacy for me and my family while I deal with the treatment I need. Thank you. So
And Castellanos deep to left field.
exactly. So no, I hope he does get the treatment because he's obviously fucking up. I see. It would only take one time for me. Like I have definitely made the mistake of driving drunk in my life. I have done that. I never got caught doing it, but I have stayed awake nights being so scared that I would have gotten caught that one night that I was, should have been behind the wheel or just totally mortified that I could have killed a family of 5 or, I'm just disgusted by my behavior in those moments. It's why I live in the city because I like to drink and I don't have to drive. I lived in New York for half my life, lived in Chicago for the other half. And I'm going to keep it that way. If you got public transportation and a good Uber system, you're the city for me,
Yes. Right.
So
I'm with you.
Yeah. So why don't we give away now a lot of people, they used our Amazon search bar, which is you can find it sunranto.com/Amazon. And if you use that and you just buy stuff you would regularly buy, in fact, all you got to do is fill up your cart, buy all the stuff you were going to buy at Amazon, get your cart all set, then go over to sunranto.com/Amazon, click on our ads, and then just check out. We get credit for everything. And you could win a monthly prize because here are all the fabulous items that the Ranters have bought. I like this. At bowlingball.com, they sold a microfiber ultra dry bowling grip ball. Got some Orbit gum.
Yeah, a little Wrigley's double mint gum there.
Yeah, Cubs related.
It's I find it odd that people buy shit like gum on Amazon. When I buy gum, it's because I want gum right that moment. Like I'm not like 2 days, I'll have some gum.
Well, if you're a regular gum chewer, maybe you're just gonna be.
They did order 40 packs.
Yeah, exactly. You're just gonna have gum around the house. There were 74 items in total. Somebody bought a pepper grinder or a salt grinder, so it's basically like a utility grinder. Could be either. Or
a finger grinder. You really want to get somebody to talk.
Yikes. So no, a lot of great items here. 74 in total. Noel Christmas t-shirt. I like that. Try not to suck t-shirt somebody bought. So anyway, lots of great items. And the way we do this, there's 74 total items. They all correspond to a number. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with the random number picker wheel this time. And we're gonna see which Amazon item number wins, and whatever comes up. Now I can't see who bought what. I can just see what was bought. So you have to come forward. Unfortunately, if you bought something embarrassing,
you have to do
and
your
you
part.
won, you have to take credit for what you purchased. So round and round she goes. Where she
Wheels
stops
on the bus
go round and round. Oh, number 28. 28er. 8er is the winner. Now let's take a look at what that would correspond
what was
to.
28?
That would be on the first page, I believe. Number 20. Oh no, it would be on
second page.
Yeah, okay, second page. Number 28 is, oh my God, Cracker Jack original coated popcorn and peanuts. Whoever bought the Cracker Jacks, first of all, we know you're a baseball fan because I can't imagine ever eating Cracker Jacks outside of a baseball game. Never like in the Jewel checkout line be like, you know what? I'm gonna get some gum and some Cracker Jacks.
Exactly. All these things we're talking about are just the things that you see in the checkout line at the Jewels. You just grab it.
So, Corey Furlong is taking credit for the gum. Gum, not a winner. Cracker Jack's a winner. Hopefully somebody will take credit for those.
By the way, Corey hooking me up with the nice Cubs Hawkeyes hat that I'm wearing. I'm loving wearing that one around. People are digging it. Everybody wants to buy it from me.
Well, you are just so handsome, Michael. So we every now and again we do a little segment on this show, being that it is Christmas season and it is the season of giving. I thought we'd do a little good, bad, and the ugly. I need a drop for that.
You really do. The whistle was a good try, but man, that can get away from you. All right. Well, Danny didn't do this. He brought it up. He said we should do this, and then he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I did it. So we're going to start with the good, of course. And I'm going with a Chicago Cubs golf bag.
A
Now,
handsome bag.
I actually love this bag. I look at it's like got a cooler in there for like a 6-pack of beer. And I mean, I'm a golfer and it has individual slots for your clubs, which anybody who golfs knows that's the bag you want. You want the one. This is like $300 at Amazon. I saw it and I was really kind of bummed.
You can get it at
you
can get it
look
at
right over
Fanatics.
there, it's got all the logos on it right under the Cubs. It's got 4 different logos and stuff. It's good.
Yeah, you can get this one at Fanatics too, which is actually better for the Sun Ranto show. Like we get a higher percentage. It's the same price, but we get more, and Jeff Bezos gets less.
Yeah.
So if you like the golf bag, buy it. I like. I mean, it is quite sexy.
Yeah,
That is
I
a
mean,
sexy ass. I mean, he's got the 3 different Cubs logos on the side, and then the W. I mean, there's all the different Cubs logos are all over this thing. It's really just well done. And
yeah.
you know, I don't golf. I am not impressed by things usually like this, and I was like surprised at that. I was impressed at this bag. I was like, that's a handsome bag, Michael. Fine choice.
It is definitely a good.
But
It's
give me the bad though, because this is hilarious.
Oh my God. This bad
What-
is
what the
maybe
the
the worst thing I
What
have
in the
ever
Christ?
seen
Yeah.
on Amazon. It's amazing. This is the 2008 Upper Deck Presidential Running Mate Predictors baseball card
What?
featuring John McCain in an umpire's uniform yelling at Hillary Clinton, who is in a Cubs uniform, and she is kicking dirt on his feet. And this is the presidential predictor. So they thought Hillary would be running against McCain in 2008.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want this baseball card. It's
This
it's
baseball
pretty
card
incredible.
costs $374.98.
It's the only reason I want it. Because it's so expensive, and I just want to be like, I have this is worth $400. It's like better keeping your
It's
money in Bitcoin.
it's totally one of those things where like this thing only like there's probably like 3 of them that exist anywhere because obviously this just didn't happen. And who the fuck would have bought this in the first place? Who would have bought it for the $1.50 that it originally cost? Probably. You know what I mean? And now we're gonna drop $374.98 on it.
I like
oh
the-
my goodness.
I like how Karen-ish Hillary's hair is.
Oh my
this
oh,
picture.
you're right.
So
Right.
Karen-ish.
She's got the shy party aunt going with
Yeah.
the hair. And I will say she kind of looks good in the pinstripes.
Yeah. She's a
She's-
Cubs fan.
She's got some good legs in those she's filling out those pants.
She's a Cubs fan. So at least she won something. And
She's the one selling it.
yeah. So
Oh.
give me your ugly.
All right. Now ugly is, of course, at this time of year,
Oh, terrible.
ugly sweaters are a thing, right? Well, you know when ugly sweaters aren't a thing? In the summertime because it's hot. But don't worry, now you can have an ugly t-shirt,
That
it
looks
is-
like an ugly sweater.
like an ugly sweater, but you can wear it in the summer because it's not hot. It's short sleeve t-shirt, ugly ass like Cubs checkers and
Well, at least
red,
it's
white, and
only
blue
$15.
trees.
It's like
It is only $15.
yeah, it's 15, $20. Yeah. At the very least, they're not trying to get like $50 for this thing like they are with some of the ugly sweaters, I might add. So
Right.
this
It
is
is,
on Amazon too. I've been dropping the links for all this stuff in the chat.
yeah,
By the
it
way.
is quite it's quite affordable. And if your friends or other members of your family aren't Cubs fans, if you notice, if you're looking at this, there's all these other little things because you can get this for like 20 teams,
Every
20 different teams.
Oh God. Why? See,
You could have a collection.
this is why our society's failing. It's because like they're like, let's take an ugly joke and make it even uglier. It's like, no, we've gone too far again. Well, we're gonna have just one more commercial break, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna play just a few Cubs Christmas carols. In fact, just one of them really, and then we're gonna do some announcements. Get the hell out of here. We got Secret Ranter that's announced. We got the Cubs caroling coming up, and of course, you don't want to miss TFCs. They're quite enjoyable this time, I can guarantee you. But stick tuned. Here's a commercial for Sun Ranto shopping, which you should be using for all your Christmas gifts. We sell a lot of shit.
If you're like most Americans, you buy shit. Lots of shit. Sometimes you buy shit for other people. Sometimes you buy shit for yourself. And sometimes you buy shit you have to buy just to stay alive. So why not buy shit through the Sunranto affiliate? Links at sunranto.com/shopping. We've got tons of shit you can buy. Go to sunranto.com, click on the shopping link, then click our ads and buy shit. We've got Amazon. They've got tons of shit. But you can also buy MLB shit, NBA shit, NFL shit, Fans Ed shit, Southwest Airlines shit, Fanatic shit, Reebok shit, Wine of the Month shit, Beer of the Month shit, Bear Mattress shit, StubHub shit, Lid shit, Sports Memorabilia shit, Volcanica coffee shit, Vibrator shit, Condom shit, Bag shit, NHL shit, and Audible membership shit. There's a whole lot of shit that can help the Sunranto show stay on the air so we can keep talking shit. So buy shit today through sunranto.com/shopping. Thanks. Cubs Jesus thinks you're the shit.
Welcome back. We love
need
you
an
all.
affiliate link for cat food from now on.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's basically MLB.com. It's Cubs.com. Get all your cat food there. So we have a Christmas parody song going on. The winner of it will be winning this incredible near mint Leo DeRocher card, which is really cool.
Leo,
I did look it up. It's worth about like $75, so it's not like a shabby prize, you know. So definitely
it's not Hillary Clinton and John McCain. It's actually a good card.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess it's not that rare, and it's near mint, not mint. I know that the great people that grade this stuff, it goes they go pretty thorough with that stuff. But
it goes like mint, spearmint, peppermint, cool
yeah,
mint,
cool
Doritos.
Mint. Yeah. Cool mint Doritos. Like, I don't think that's a thing, actually.
It's when people have like the Doritos shit on their hands, but then they touch the card and it's all fucked up.
So speaking of fucked up, Michael, you've entered the contest. Now I am ineligible because I am a professional parody writer. I literally do it for a job. So I just want to tell everybody out there that Michael's going to set a bar here. I'm just saying.
I'm my job in this contest every year is to show you that yes, you're not going to be the worst one.
Yeah, you can too. So so please enter, and I'll tell you how you can enter. All you got to do is either email me sunranto@gmail.com, and a video is really preferred because then I can bring it on the show and I don't have to do all this stuff with your audio and get it ready to put on the show. So if you can make a video, even if it's done with like one picture, just do that if you have those technical skills. If not, I might make a video for you. But send me the MP3. Send me you singing it on your phone. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it just is about having fun and making fun of the Cubs through Christmas songs, like, and having a good time with it. So this is Michael's song, Hoyer Sells. It's the first entry for the Sunranto Song Contest, which you have 2 more weeks to do. 2 weeks from tonight, we will be announcing a winner. It'll be our last show before the Christmas break, and you can win that card. Here's Hoyer Sells. You got anything to say before you start?
I'm sorry.
Fair. You're gonna love how the video I made with this.
Hoyer Sells. Hoyer Sells. Oh, just like Bing Crosby. The trade deadline at Wrigley. Ding-a-ling. Are rebuilding. Let's just wait till next year. Now, Rick and Swine needs shitty signings, dressed in Tampa Bay style. Winter meetings, a feeling of failure. Teams are laughing, agents passing. Cubs won't sign extra years.
Yeah, you're barely on that pitch.
You Oh, I can't believe I'm on it at all. I really need somebody like
way down there.
It's spring training in Mesa. Oh my God. I'm crying over here. This is
It's gorgeous.
for
It really is.
my
I will
Tugging
say
on my
this.
heartstrings.
So far, you are the best one.
Now, okay, so this is actually the second song that I did.
Right.
Patreon users have been, unfortunately, subjected to the other one as well. A David Bodie season to Holly Jolly Christmas. You've heard them both. What do you think? This one or David Bodie?
Well, the David Bodie at the end of that one, I mean, I don't even know what song you were singing. I mean, I just like you just went off like it's it's like something went wrong with your brain, and all of a sudden you just started singing like I don't know what you were going for, but it certainly wasn't the song that you were intending.
I mean, I started there. I started with that song, right? I mean, you don't want to do a cover that sounds just like the original. You gotta do your own thing with it.
Well, I'm looking forward to everybody else getting in on the action. It really is just a lot of fun. And we're down a guy this year because we lost Dan Nielsen, and he was one of the stalwart performers that we had. And so you guys got to make it up. Do it for Dan. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'll get around to it. I'm bored and stuff. But this is you got to do it. You got to do it. We're having a lot of fun. And also, Cubs caroling is coming up as well. I do have a couple of suggestions if you're not sure what to do. How about this? The Cubs signed Miles Mastrobuoni, or they got him in somehow, some way. We haven't talked about it on this show because
we're not sure how he got there. We don't know if anybody wants him, but they're stuck with him.
But he's around. Yeah, he's. But how about? Have yourself a Mastroboni Christmas, something like that. I think that you can make something out of there. And then how about a hologram Harry Christmas? Dun, 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 dun.
That's the David Bodie season, man.
Yeah, well, I know you. Well, I mean, sometimes you get a couple of repeats on the songs. I've parodied some of these songs probably 50 times already in my life.
Yes,
so
it's all about the lyrics, really.
Yeah. So here's how you enter. Post on Facebook, tag me. Send me an email, sunranto@gmail.com, tag me. Throw it up on Twitter, tag me. Whatever way you send it to me, tag me at Sunranto, Twitter, Sunranto Show, Sunranto, Facebook Ranters, all that stuff. So announcements, Cubs caroling is coming up, and yeah, you should come to it because it's going to be a hell of a good time. Michael, you're not coming, right? You can't come?
No, again.
Yeah,
I can't come.
Very sad, but there's quite a few people that are coming.
I think people need to take this as a warning. Don't have children because you will not get to go to Cubs caroling ever.
There is an Evite. You can bring your kids if you get them a fake ID. I'm just saying, I'm not the best role model for your children, but hey kids, I know where you get a fake ID down at Clark. Let's go. So there's an Evite for it. I've been posting it around, and you can find it. And I'm also going to post a Facebook event to it as well, and just join up one or the other. So I don't think there's like 50 people coming. It's just 25 people that joined both. So, and then the other thing I want to invite you all to is we're doing the Sunranto Secret Ranter. And I've also been posting this around. We do this on Elfster. It's a lot of fun.
You can buy an ugly Cubs t-shirt for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine because you probably don't know who you're buying it for. So, and they don't know you.
$15.
Yeah. So it's $15. So I think we're doing like a $25 limit or something like that. And then you could put a wish list of what you might want and people can choose and keep it Cubs related. It's a great way to have a good time. So Bernie Barron, she'll be there. She said, cannot wait. That is who I get to go. that is how I get to go. My kid is over 18, so he's already got a fake ID, so it works out perfectly. Hashtag chance in the chat, by the way. I don't know if people. I have not seen a lot of hashtag.
There were a
chance.
bunch early.
Oh, there was okay. Yeah, we got a few entries coming in. So where were we? Oh yeah, TFCs. These flexing cubes. I got a kind of long one. That's what she said. But
No, she didn't.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go and I'll just kind of paraphrase this whole thing. But Steve Trout, former the Rainbow, on the Rainbow Trout on Facebook has been going full January 6th. Okay. So here's what he says, and this is long, and you could probably guess the rest of it just from where I'm starting. He says, "I don't know about you, but Lindsey Graham says Joe Biden, can't call him president, is clueless on the border," spelled BOARDER. By the way,
he is clueless on that type of border.
Yeah,
to be fair,
it's true. You've never had an Airbnb, but. Lindsey, come on, get real. He is part of the group who want to make this great country a CCP-controlled dictatorship. That, of course, is China, China Communist Party. He is behind the open border. Of course, border spelled like BOARDER. Yet, once again, multiple times throughout this post. He goes on and on about letting in the criminals and the drugs and the felons and the gang members and terrorists and everybody who's gonna, screw us with the Chinese Communist Party. And this is the best country in the world. And Joe Biden's letting in the communists, and the border should be closed. And dereliction of duty. And we got to make January 6th to happen again. And he literally says that, like, let's make it happen again. Yeah, no, he does. The cartels are going to control our country, are going to destroy it. No, he's really not saying too much different than like Noam Chomsky in some ways, but Steve's obviously unhinged in this situation.
Yes.
He's going off about Fauci and the Chinese taking over. And he concludes with this. "I wish that Fox or someone would show all the places that the Chinese Communist Party owns and is invested in just in the U.S. From land to food to business, they will soon be in our politics, and then it will be too late." Two spelled T-O, of course. So, and then not only that, but he also did this huge post to Elon Musk. This is a shout out to my favorite person, who is a knight in shining armor.
His favorite person.
Yeah. His favorite person. This is like, something you write to your grandson.
Yes.
You're my favorite person. This is a shout out to my favorite person, who is a knight in shining armor. Yeah, it's shitting. I only wish I could meet you and tell you to your face, Elon Musk, you are my hero. You will bring shame to those on the laptop. Hunter Biden, of course, and the scamming of the 2020 election. Go get him, Elon. He goes on like this. But see, this isn't even my TFC, because Steve Trout has just said unhinged old man living down in the villages and just ruining the rest of Gen X's life, making sure we eat cat food.
I'm sure when you call him Rainbow, he cringes. He gets real upset.
That's the whole problem with these idiots. They used to be the hippies.
Yeah.
So, but that's not even the funny thing. So I'd rather be at Wrigley. He tweeted back to my sharing of all this. He tweeted back. He said, "I'm looking forward to Steve Trout bobblehead day, complete with tinfoil hats."
That would be amazing if they handed out like 5,000 bobbleheads and 10,000 tinfoil hats.
Welcome back, Steve Trout. He comes out with a big tinfoil hat throughout the first pitch. Grabs the mic from Wayne Messmer, starts ranting about Biden and Hunter's laptop.
Yeah. Oh.
And drag queen story times. Oh God. Oh, Rainbow. So that was a long one. See, I told you I had to go first. So go ahead.
Oh, well,
I know you got a bunch too.
Well, no, I only have two. One just is multiple things like yours. But here, my first one though, this got posted before the Wilson Contreras signing, but it's a Cardinals fan out there saying, On the third day of the winter meetings, Cardinals gave to me one drunk announcer, two Morgan Wallen concerts, and a relief pitcher I've never heard of. I'm pretty sure they went backwards. They went the wrong way on that. Like
Yeah.
nothing in that made sense for the song.
You have no idea how the 12 Days of Christmas goes, do you, Tina, citizen journalist?
That's why I sung it, because I had to match the idiocy that was going on in this whole thing. I don't know, but I love that even the Cardinals fans are recognizing some of this.
Usually when you sing it, I get more confused, but like this time I actually like brought the whole thing together for me. So this one's mean. This next one. So Clint Frazier, you know, we've had him and his lovely wife Kaylee.
This is the first time Danny's ever posted not the most famous picture.
She's a married woman now. I have to have some respect.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but you know, Clint and Kaylee, they got married. Actually, they got married, I believe, the same day I got married on November 26th. It might have been a day or two before, but same weekend anyway, because we were all posting about it at the same time. And so Clint Frazier, there he is, looking very dapper and handsome. Kaylee looks beautiful. They had a beautiful wedding. They looked like they had a really good time. Everybody's asking about his sneakers and stuff. But some clown just couldn't just leave it alone. It just let them have their nice time. Because this guy, Rallo Scano, says, surprised you were healthy for this celebration.
Oh, man.
What a dick.
What a dick. Well, what's funny is that I saw
Also
somebody
funny. Yeah.
somebody posted that on one of your pictures as well. It was weird.
Yeah, exactly. You made it? How? Tequila and lots of it.
You had a picture of your wedding, Danny, and right under it said Clint Frazier better.
So you got another one?
Yes. So this one, you just got to jump in here on the Aaron Judge stuff. And here's one of these $8 blue check marks from the Game Day MLB. Says, welcome to the Bay, Aaron Judge. And it's a big picture of Aaron Judge in a Giants uniform. It's got the Golden Gate Bridge behind him and, you know, the Giants logo, all this stuff.
Do you mean Arson Judge?
Arson Judge, yes. Arson Judge.
Mork calling Arson. Come in, Arson.
Well, and of course, everybody jumps all over this, whoever posted this, because Aaron Judge did not go to the Giants. And instead of taking the L, and just go, no, this person
How did they get that picture of him in a Giants uniform, though? They had him try it on and everything, apparently.
I know.
Had him run around the Golden Gate Bridge, according to this picture.
Yes, he was running around the bridge.
Like, try it out, Aaron. You'll love it. There's sharks down there in the bay.
This is him at Alcatraz. It's just a shot with the bridge behind him.
Showed him where the Birdman lived. It was awesome. Amazing tour.
So everybody's jumping on this dude. And he says, I didn't report it, LOL. At John Heyman did. So
The fuck?
So Don Shula, the great Miami Dolphins coach, says,
didn't know
how
he was
come
alive.
You didn't give him credit if he's your source. So I love the fact that, you know, he's getting called out by everybody for absolutely being wrong. And then, you know, his whole defense is, I didn't credit the person who told me.
I did not credit my incorrect source, sir.
Yes. Oh, these people loving it. So
really
it had
funny.
that has to be a blue dollar, an $8 blue check mark on that thing.
I mean, it's the dumbest thing now. It's really so hard to know what to listen to. People are asking questions. They're like, can I trust this guy? You're like, yeah, he breaks a lot of stuff. And, you know, but people don't know anymore.
Can I trust this guy? I don't know.
I'm like, well, I don't know. We do.
What does that
Yeah, what
does that tell you? I mean,
if John Heyman's on TV and he's like talking about arson, and I mean, it's one thing. That's why I don't want
Katy Perry's wet booty hole break
yeah.
something.
Dude, I broke news. Before.
That's true.
So, not accidentally. You know, I mean, except for the one time I was drunk.
Under confidence that you weren't supposed to.
Yeah. I was like, wow, it's the end of the show. Nobody's there. Was like 4 people watching left. It was like during the height of COVID. I was like, still stuck at home. What the fuck? What did I break? I broke Arietta.
Arietta, yes.
See, and he ended up sucking. So I don't want to break no news because it's not
I think
good.
you broke Arietta.
God
He was
damn it.
great before you said anything about him.
Yeah. So, TF Chance. Hashtag Chance in the chat. This is your last chance to get it done. Michael, what are you feeling about maybe doing a Discord after this? I'd go on for maybe like half hour because I know people probably have stuff to say. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But I think I'll head over.
I could do a half hour, but people, you got to show up. You don't show up, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and that's another thing I'll say. If you're not a Patreon supporter, you get access to this Discord channel, which is, just kind of like the private ranters page. And we all go over there and I'm trying to use it more, because I'm an old man. I, learning new technology and shit. But I do enjoy Discord. So when I remember that that it exists, sometimes I do use it.
So go on Discord. If you're a Patreon user, if you're not, if you're just one of those random assholes that take this stuff up for free, go to Reddit. We have a Son Ranto page on Reddit. Get the fuck away from Facebook. It's a cesspool. It's garbage.
Yeah.
Twitter is starting to fucking fall apart. Reddit is the answer. We can all hang out there.
$8 blue checks everywhere. Got blue light specials breaking fucking stupid news. Like and what's the point? Who cares? You'll find out eventually when the season starts who's on the fucking team. All right. So,
right.
You're fine. You got all through. You got January, February. Like, who cares who breaks the news and how fast you understood it? Like, if you hear tomorrow, it doesn't matter. They're not playing until freaking March. So,
ask John Heyman how great it is to be first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He's having the worst week ever.
Yeah. What an idiot. He's probably drunk. So, all right. Hashtag Chance in the chat. All right. The winner's going to win this Chance postcard. Then I'm going to go pour myself a drink. Well, actually, let's just give away a Chance postcard. Here we go. Rich Blomqvist. Congratulations. You are the winner of the Chance postcard. And
congratulations, Rich. You are richer still.
You're richer still. And I will be sending you a message of hope and doom. And you are also now eligible to win the player what does it say? Player personalities Pedro Strop bobblehead, where he's like got the microphone and everything. Pretty cool stuff. So I got one more. Yeah, I got a parody for us. So it's this comes from me. This is I'm not entering this. Is just try to inspire everybody to get out there and write about anything Cubs related at all. Just have fun, have a good time.
This is the flip side of my song. As bad as mine was,
the range that you could be within.
You're kind of anywhere in between these two.
Yeah, anywhere in between, you'll be good. So, so this is Clark, the pantsless mascot. We'll see you over on Discord. Spagog.
Oh God, I haven't said that.
Orbit and Stomper and Bernie the Brewer, Philly Fanatic and Southpaw and Blooper. But do you recall the most buck naked of them all? Clark, the pantsless mascot, doesn't have on any pants, never has shorts or slacks on, while he's entertaining fans, bearing his bare bottom during every Cubs home game. His parents never taught him about embarrassment or shame, always showing his hiney and his stubby tail. He won't wear trousers or tights. Clark's living the pantsless life. All of Chicago loves him and his lack of modesty. Clark, the pantsless mascot. Rated R for nudity. Rated R for nudity. Clark, put on some damn pants. Merry Christmas.